Okay then. That was a very aggressive run. Welcome back to another Logan's Vlogs and Cars. How you all doing, man? Today we are in the 2015 Cadillac Escalade ESV. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about what it's like to own this particular vehicle, and I'm going to tell you things that are great and things that are not. And it's not perfect, not a perfect car, but considering the age and the mileage, it's pretty freaking good, considering it's not a Japanese car. So let's get right into it. This car has 115,000 miles, so it's a pretty high mileage car. If you ask me, it's not terrible. My car, for comparison, is a 2013, 2 years older than this, and has 50,000 miles more. So my car put it on 25,000 miles more a year than this car. But I will say it's a high mileage car, but it's not horrible. It's not a low mileage one though. This is about what you'll get most of these cars for, is high mileage like this, because they are so sought after and so well used by families. Families love them. They're spacious, comfortable, practical, and they get the job done splendidly well. And in style, might I add. Which, that's the first thing I want to talk about, the pro of this car. This car is sexy. If you follow my music channel, you will know this car was in my newest music video, Yes Man, which is out now. If you're watching this, it's been out. Go check it out. I'll put a link in my bio for it. But yes, essentially, this car is sexy. And this one in particular, this is the ESV Escalade Platinum. So this is the top trim. This stickered probably for $105,000 to $108,000, $110,000 brand spanking new. Brand new. Or probably $100,000 even. It's between $100,000 and $110,000 even. So it was not cheap. It was not a cheap date. It never is and never will be. But this was for the ballers. This is for the rich families. This is for the lawyers that have 4 kids. This is for the NFL players who have 3 kids. You know what I mean? Like, this is for families who are rich but want an understated vehicle, because not everyone wants a Rolls-Royce Cullinan or a Bentley Bentayga. They're just, cars like that can be real. It can be too flashy. And sometimes, if you're an American, sometimes you don't trust the German competitors like the Mercedes or the BMW. So you like to stick with your roots, but you want the most luxurious thing possible for the money, and you don't want to go to the German brands, and you don't want to be flashy in the Bentley or Rolls. So you go to this. This is the alternative. And this is a great car. Now this one's old and it's aged and it shows it. I mean, the seats, they're worn. They're like some of the. By the way, this peanut butter caramel interior is beautiful. I will say the seats are a little worn. The passenger and the back seats, they look brand new. The driver's seat, you can tell this was used the most. This has a lot of wear and tear on the seat. It's not horrible. It's not ugly. It's not awful. Actually, the leather itself is holding up well. It's just, it's having this coloration from the amount of people that have sat in this car. It has a lot of worn. Like, you can see the blue from people's jeans in this. So it's not that it's like ripping or tearing or being cheap. It's holding up actually really well. But it's just, no one took proper care of this car, and so there's discoloration in the seats and all that. So that's what it is. But this car is honestly amazing. I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but let me move on to my next thing I love about this car. This car, I'm gonna turn on right now. And and by the way, I already made a review of this car, so if you want to check out my full review on it, I'll put a link for that as well. Screw it, I'll put a link for it as well. But next thing that I love about this car, and I'm gonna turn it on right now, massaging seats. These things, they're nice. They're really nice. I enjoy them greatly. They're not the best. I will admit, there are probably newer cars with better massaging seats, but you have to keep in mind, you can get this car for $70,000 now, cheaper than it was back in the day. And even back in the day, this was kind of ahead of its time. Another thing, heated and cooled seats for I mean, it better for the price that they were asking for back in the day. But now it's like, that's awesome. That's a modern day feature. I mean, this car has some really cool tricks up its sleeve. By the way, this car has a lot that I really like. The interior of this color is not everyone's favorite taste. I personally think it's kind of baller. Kind of reminds you of like a pimp. Just driving. I mean, I feel like a pimp driving this car. It's really nice. And this interior is it's a beautiful interior. Even in a plain black color interior, this is a beautiful interior. The dash across the passenger board, or the passenger seat, it swoops. It's very artistic. It's very beautiful. It's artistically done. The door handles curve and they're really elegant looking. They're really beautiful. Now there are, because this is the mid 2010s, there's a lot of cheap plastic, but you have to look past it, especially for $40,000 used. Buying this used on the market, if you need a good family vehicle, you gotta look past that stuff, because other than those little things, most of the stuff in this car is actually nice and luxurious to touch. Now there's a couple, like the turn signals, they're plastic and they don't look good, and there's a couple buttons, and I could rant about that, but I'm also trying to keep in mind that this is not a new car anymore. New, this would not be acceptable to a certain extent with some of the cheapness, but it's used, and you have to look at it like that. This is a used car. This has 115,000 miles, and you gotta basically drive it like it. But for an 8-year-old car, this has some great tech. It's got a heads-up display. It's got automatic braking. It's got sensors all around the car. 360 cameras, backup camera, multiple different camera angles. I mean, granted, the camera quality isn't the best, but the fact that it has it is amazing, and the fact that you're getting this in a $40,000 car is even better. And all this space you're getting for $40,000 is incredible. It's incredible. I can't hate it. It's beautiful. I love it. It's positive. Another thing I really like is the tech. This has the really futuristic, like, piano touchscreen, touch-sensitive buttons. Now, I'm not a fan that's piano black, because piano black will show a lot of fingerprints, and that's horrible. But I will admit, if you keep it clean, it actually looks gorgeous. It looks futuristic, and it still looks modern. And I do approve of it. I do, to an extent, approve of it. You just gotta take care of it, and you gotta clean it. You gotta know what you're doing. Because if you don't, well, yeah. Now, I will admit, the thing is, and this is something I like and don't like at the same time. This car has fully digital displays. It has a fully digital display and the driver's view, and there's a fully digital 8-inch display in the center. And I will admit, they're dated. They're noticeably, horribly dated. Yes. However, even though it looks a little dated, I still wish something like this was in my car. If I had these screens in my car would be a lot better of a car. And what I'm basically saying is, even though they're not great, they're still good, and they still look. It's impressive. When you're getting this for 40 grand, and this is nice. This is nice stuff. It doesn't look great because it's older technology, but that's things you gotta deal with when you're buying a used car, especially one 8 years old. I mean, you're not gonna care. Dude, the way this thing drives, you're not gonna care at all. You're just not. And I think overall, this is amazing. Moving on to the next thing that I really like, and I'm not going in any logical order. I'm just gonna talk about it how I see it. Has a lot of great things. It's got a sunroof, and something that really surprised me. Like, I mean, really. Something that really surprised me, like just beyond belief surprised me. This car has been getting good fuel economy despite the fact that I essentially drove it. Now, what do I mean? What I mean is, I've driven this car around like I drive my Suburban, and this car has been averaging better MPGs than my car ever has. I drive my car relatively light, and I can barely get 13.5 mpgs when I'm driving light. It's bad. It's very bad. 2013. This car's 2 years newer, more luxurious, more tech, nicer interior, same level of practicality, and it gets better MPGs than my car by, ready for it, 4 MPGs. That's right. This car gets 17 miles per gallon. I've been averaging that. And again, I've been flooring this car a couple different times. Like right now. This guy's going too slow. But see, right there for an example, I just floored it, and we are still at 17.4 miles per gallon average. And I haven't been flooring it constantly. I'm sure my MPGs would be worse. However, I will admit, the fact that I can floor it once in a while here and there, and other than that, drive it lightly in daily driving and still get 17 miles per gallon is impressive. I don't have that in my car. That's a nice luxury touch. You can get more MPGs. But depending on how you look at this, can also be a con, because this car has something else that I was not expecting. And I don't know the numbers. I don't know the exact numbers. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is an honest review. I don't know the exact numbers, but this car has a bigger gas tank. And I know this because my car has the standard 26 gallon gas tank, and it gets 450 miles of range. This car, I filled it up today all the way. And without even trying, without topping it off, I was at 550 of range, which means this car has like a 30-some gallon gas tank, or a 28 gallon, somewhere around there, a higher gas tank for sure. But I'm betting it's in the 30s because that's high. That's a high improvement. This car gets 150 more miles of range than my car. I filled it up at the beginning of the day. I was low. I was at 130. I filled it up to 550. Right now, and I've been driving a lot, I'm at 416, which is the same as if I were to fill my car up right now from empty. That is insane. That's a good thing, because that means you can drive this. It means it's one hell of a road trip car. This is a road trip car. If you're trying to if you're trying to get far in a singular day, if you're trying to go through 6 states in one day, this is the car to do it. And this has the range to do it. But that's the con, because it's a big vehicle and they recommend premium. This will be expensive at the station. You know, I'm talking, this is gonna be $100 fill up. It's not a cheap date, but it's awesome. I think it's awesome that it has that range. It's a great thing. And I will say, you don't have to fill it up with premium. You can fill it up with regular. They recommend premium for the best performance, but you're not driving it for performance numbers anyway. So who cares? But overall, yeah, you'll have to pay to play to drive this one in terms of gas. But I'm gonna defend it. 17.4 miles per gallon is pretty freaking good, if you ask me. But that's just me. Now, what would I say? Would I recommend this car to you? If you are in the market for a family vehicle of this size, Yukon XL, Suburban, Escalade, ESV, and you want something comfortable, practical, and something that can fit your whole family, and it's luxurious and it looks good, but you don't think the Yukon XL is good enough to fit that, because you can get a Yukon XL Denali and that will cover the job. But if you think that's not good enough and you need something better, I can't recommend this car enough. This is a great car, and I had a blast. I had a blast. This is my second car on Turo, and I've had a blast with this car. This car is such a great driving car. I'm gonna miss it. If there's one thing I could take home with me, it's the freaking tints. I love the tints, and I also love this interior. If I could put this interior in my Suburban, I think my Suburban, in my opinion, is a 3 out of 10 in terms of how I rate the car in terms of overall goodness. If I had this interior, I'd put it up at a 6 automatically. This is a phenomenal interior. If I had all these displays, it would just be great. And something that I really like too is it has a secret storage compartment underneath the screen. If you press the little thing, it'll rise up, and it will It has a little cubby. Overall, this car is amazing. I can't say enough good things about it. I highly recommend this car to anyone who's looking for a used car. You can pick one of these up for 40 to 45 grand. I mean, that's a deal for this car. Because, I mean, and it depends on how much driving you do. If you do a shit ton of driving, I will advise you to get a newer car. If you're looking at something like this, you're going to have to pay a little more and go get the newer ones. Because, you know, this car is high up, and if you put a lot of miles on every year, this won't last very long. But I will say, if you only average 10 to close to 13,000 miles a year, maybe even pushing 15, I recommend this car. This will last you a long time. Easily, if you take care of it, it'll last you another 8 to 10 years. I can't complain. This is overall a great vehicle, and I recommend it. I highly recommend it. I had a blast. And despite the flaws, some of the wear and tear, some of the leather coming undone on the dashboard, which, yeah, thankfully you don't notice it though, it's not that bad. But you can still see it's sort of there. Other than that, this car is really nice, and I wouldn't change nothing. I wouldn't change nothing. Overall, this is great. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this long ranting video on this car. Please give it a comment, share, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I got more coming on the way. You have no idea, so stay tuned for that. I love you guys so much. And like always, I'll see you guys in the next video when I have more content to upload for you. Peace out, guys. Wow. Amazing car. What an amazing car.